I'm here on the corner of North Broadway and Cass Street outside the White Pillars Museum. Today we're going to learn all about the Historical Society. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd. In each episode of the Mayor's Corner, we plan to take you to explore a different part of the city of De Pere as we discuss the latest happenings in our community. Plus, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at various areas of city government. Most of all, we want to show you all there is to celebrate about the city of De Pere. I'm here on the corner of North Broadway and Cass Street outside the White Pillars Museum. Let's step inside and check out the De Pere Historical Society. Hey Amanda, thanks for having us here today.
Hi, Mayor Boyd.
Hey, thank you. You're here at we're here at the De Pere Historical Museum, and then your job here as the curator is to handle daily activities, lots of different things. Can you maybe give us some background on what you do during the day here?
Yeah, sure. So I handle research requests, also event planning. I work on writing the newsletters that we give out to our membership base, as well as planning exhibits and social media outreach.
Oh, fantastic. And you have people that work here and help as well too, correct?
Yes.
So you have volunteers that come in, assist during the day. Way back when, I used to go to the museum on the west side. So I don't think people realize it used to be there and then transfer over here. You have no memory of that, obviously.
I don't,
You
no.
do not. So that said, you're kind of new to the area a little bit. Can you give us a little background on yourself? What got you in this business? Just some interesting stuff like that.
Sure. So I actually grew up in Bellevue, which is a little bit ways away. Yep. We always come over to De Pere for dinner or hang out on the weekends, things like that. De Pere has always been pretty interesting to me, and I just love the area, especially around Broadway over here, the historic homes and just how beautiful it is, and then became interested with working with nonprofits as I got older, and then wanted to get involved in the Historical Society.
So now I'm assuming you went to school for this. Where'd you go to school, and what were some things you picked up there that maybe kind of got you interested in this as well?
Yeah, so I went to UW Oshkosh for my degree. I went for anthropology, world religions, and French, and also took a couple classes at NWTC, as well as field school work out in Belize and Guatemala. And then came back, and then I actually interned over at Hazelwood, Brown County Historical Society.
Yep.
Yes, Brown County Historical Society, and then made my way over here.
Great, so a varied background, and now De Pere is fortunate to have you right here. So the Historical Society is a nonprofit, and you're dependent upon volunteers. So you have volunteers come here and do things elsewhere. What are some of the things that the volunteers do, and how can people get involved and become a volunteer?
Yeah, so volunteers are very important to us. They help keep our business running, and our volunteers help with things such as events or even groundskeeping, and then sometimes even with scanning and cataloging items into our archives as well. For anyone interested, they can just contact me. We have both short-term and long-term options available for anyone who wants to be a volunteer.
Great, and I think you found out that a lot of people have great passion for the city of De Pere, and De Pere is a city around 30,000 people. As far as you know, do a lot of cities around that size, even smaller, have a historical society or that much interest in history? Is this kind of unique, or is this something that's fairly standard throughout Wisconsin and the country?
It can be standard. However, I don't notice many historical societies of our scale in areas of this size, especially with the amount of interest. I've noticed that we try to do a lot with the community and hold events and programming, to really keep everyone involved. And I think community involvement is really important. And having that background of wanting to keep people interested in history.
That's great. Maybe we can talk like one little thing, like yearbooks at all the schools, at the high schools, St. Edward College, is kind of a big deal for the schools, for the students, the teachers, the families. One thing you're kind of embarking on and have been working on within this building is trying to catalog the yearbooks. That's got to be a great undertaking, because you have to go back many years and then hopefully have people come in and hand them in and then take us kind of through that process. What happens, like when a book comes in?
Sure. So first we make sure that we already, if we already don't have the book, we already have a couple copies of each year. But they can date back to the early 1900s. And we have all of the yearbooks, East De Pere, West De Pere, St. Norbert,
Abbott
Pennings,
sure.
St. Joseph Academy. We have, the whole collection here. We are missing a few of them. But going through that and then just being able to scan each page and then upload it to our digital archive.
So on your website, do you have it listed, the years that you're missing? Because I'm sure it's something you'd like to have a complete collection,
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, we do have it available on our website, and we do also mention it in our newsletters as well, items that we're still looking for. So.
Great. Now you talked about events, and one of the big events you have is led by a couple of De Pere local historians, McKim Boyd and Joe Cerrugi, the picture show, which has become immensely popular. And I think at those shows, a lot of people bring in archives, whether it be pictures or whatnot. How has that benefited the Historical Society and history as a whole in the city of De Pere?
Yeah, so the photo shows are a crowd favorite to the De Pere community. It's just basically a slideshow of images that sometimes we do have a theme that goes along with it. And McKim and Joe like to touch base on those specific images and like to throw in a couple jokes at each other too while they're at it.
I'm sure they do. And then people at that time bring stuff into you that isn't related to the show, so people are encouraged to show
sometimes,
up.
Sometimes they do hand us something that they think would look nice in the museum or something that we've been looking for. So they do sometimes drop that off.
So just an example of one event and one way you showcase the city, and I think it's incredibly popular, and I think a lot of residents are grateful that you, the community, Joe and McKim, do that on a monthly basis. So that's fantastic. Now that we're talking about De Pere history, we are in a very historic building. This is the White Pillars building, which houses the Historical Society and all the artifacts that we see. Can you tell us a little bit about this building, why it's important, the significance of it, and how it became the home of the Historical Society?
Yeah, so we're actually standing in the front room here, which is the original building itself. Just this tiny little room here. Was built in 1836, and it was originally built actually on the 100 block of North Broadway, so just a few blocks down the road.
Gotcha.
And then luckily it was moved prior to the 1882 fire to this location. So
back then they picked up a building and moved it over.
Moved it over.
Stayed complete and intact.
Yes.
Impressive.
And that makes this the oldest commercial building still standing in De Pere because it was moved prior to that fire. So.
Oh, that's great. So very significant.
Yes.
And then the Historical Society. The society itself has been around for a while. How about some background on that and its origins?
So the Historical Society was founded in 1973. And back then it was over at the other location that
on the west side.
That
I had gone
that
to
you had gone to
years ago. Yeah.
And they had eventually then moved into this building. And then our mission is to promote public awareness, understanding to the De Pere community. And we also serve as a repository of information for people who are interested in research. We actually have one of the largest digital archives in the state.
Wow.
And we also hold artifacts from museum exhibits as well.
I suppose it's overwhelming. You get these archives in, you want to archive this stuff, and then now you're going digital. So, which gives people a chance in this area, De Pere, wherever, to see it not just coming here, but elsewhere, which has got to be exciting.
Right,
this
very
whole
exciting.
New premium.
Yes.
Great, that's great. All right, as part of furthering your mission, the Historical Society gives out awards each year. Could you explain these honors and share a little bit about the recent winners?
Sure. So our volunteer award is the Nan Workman Award. It's for a volunteer of ours who went above and beyond that year. And then we also do give out awards for building preservation for both commercial and residential properties.
And you have a very big banquet. Lots of people show up. It's a good chance to showcase and honor those folks, correct?
Yes. Collectively, as an organization, we like to keep an eye out throughout the year on potential buildings that we think would make a good winner. And then at our annual dinner event that we have in October every year, we then announce the winner at our award ceremony.
That's great. It's got to be. I've been to that evening. It's very, very festive and worthwhile. The Historical Society has membership options for individuals, businesses. Can you kind of go over some of those options and how someone can become a member of the De Pere Historical Society?
Sure. So we actually just started our membership drive for the year. We have different levels of giving for our memberships for both household and business membership opportunities. And with those, the benefits that they have are special discounts at the museum as well as at certain events. We also do send out an 8-page newsletter that covers typically a historical topic with announcements and invites to our upcoming events.
And I've seen those. They come out a couple times a year.
Quarterly,
correct?
yep.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. And you get a lot of information about history as well.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Well, that's great. So residents and businesses can take part. I know a lot of them have, and it's always nice to have more come in. That's what you're looking for. Great. Looking ahead, do you have any exciting new announcements coming up or things that the people can look forward to in the near future?
We do. We are kickstarting our new fundraising campaign for our new building expansion plan, which has been a long time coming. Prior to when I was here, I know for the last at least 10 years they've been looking at doing this, and we're finally in a position to update our facilities needs.
Great.
This will include larger exhibits.
So 1836, we can finally get past this potentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
This will still be here. In
this
some
room will
form.
still stay. So this building itself, we're going to preserve and restore.
Great.
And then we're going to have the building almost be as a shell around it to prevent any further damage to the building, cut down costs of all the preservation that we do yearly. And then from this room back, we are expanding to have state-of-the-art archival storage space. We're updating our technology, which we already did start, and larger exhibit spaces, and even a small space for event space for the community.
And then I suppose going forward with this campaign, residents, businesses, anyone interested will be able to donate to this project. So
yes.
Details coming soon.
Details are coming soon, yes.
That is fantastic. The city also had a few important anniversaries in 2022. 40 years of Voyager Park, 150 years of De Pere Fire Rescue, but we also celebrated 15 years of the current Claude Alloway Bridge. To celebrate, the Historical Society had few items from the first Claude Alloway Bridge on display. We caught up with Amanda to learn more about the history of our bridges in De Pere. Let's take a look back.
Hello, Amanda Reif here, coming from the De Pere Historical Society. We're going to be featuring the different bridges that De Pere had over the years. There's about 7 of them, and we thought in light of the anniversary of the bridge that we know today from 2006, 2007, we would highlight some of the bridges from the past. Starting in 1839, we did have a small footbridge, but we don't really count that as one of the bridges. And then in 1850, we started off with the second bridge, which that was finally big enough for a whole team of horses to go by. And a large portion of that bridge 2 years later was washed away right away, so they did have to rebuild again. And then that complete rebuild was in 1854, and they added a swing bridge to that so that they could allow boats to pass through, as well as adding a toll bridge to that as well, so that people would have to pay a minor fee to pass through with any livestock or things of that nature. And then moving on to our third bridge, which was in 1881, they did also add a new draw to this bridge which was added between George and James Street, which was a completely different side where the bridge is today, and people don't realize how far back it was at one point. It was about only 7 feet above the water and had a wood frame with wood decking, and both Lawrence and De Pere paid approximately $10,000 for it total. And now this bridge didn't stay around as much either, just because it would catch on fire being a wood frame and that. So the fourth bridge, 1891, was built with the iron frame and wood decking, which cost about $40,000. And then moving on, we're going to be featuring the Claude Alloy Memorial Bridge, which a lot of people are very familiar with. It's actually what I have on display here right now. It's the 1932-1933 Fifth Bridge is what we call it. So the dedication for this bridge was July 2nd in 1933, and I do have some artifacts here. We do have the items from the dedication. In 1933, we have an image with members here who are holding the Western Electric model, the 1920s microphone, which was used at the bridge dedication. We also have some ribbons and the dedication program, the dedication buttons, and some images that coincide with the dedication itself. Below here, we do have the bridge cranks that did open and close the bridge on each side, as well as a piece of the bridge after the demolition, and the original plaques that were mounted on the side of the bridge as well. Here we do have the construction images of the bridge being built itself, and then the completed image of the bridge with the blueprint of it from the Wisconsin Highway Commission. And then the current bridge that we know today was started in 2006 and ended in 2007. The dedication was actually Saturday, October 6th in 2007, so about 15 years ago today. And the final cost of this bridge was $25.3 million. This bridge was built with 4 lanes and a roundabout, which was very unique for its time.
Wow, that was an awesome video. Great look back on the origins of the bridge. And you have that and many other things that you showcase either in the past or going forward. So we really appreciated you allowing us into this fine building, learning about the events moving forward, the volunteers you have, what residents can do to help out to maintain this and keep this going. So Amanda, thank you very much, and we enjoyed our time here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And now to a few city updates. Believe it or not, summer is just around the corner, and we're already looking for staff to join us for the summer parks and maintenance positions. The city is looking for lifeguards and pool staff, as well as summer parks and public works staff to help maintain the city's facilities and grounds across the city. These jobs are great for high school and college students or anyone looking for seasonal work. Head to dprwi.gov to learn more about these positions. Local leaders gathered at St. Albert College for the annual State of De Pere Luncheon back on February 25th. The annual address featured speakers from St. Norbert, definitely De Pere, the De Pere Area Chamber of Commerce, and of course, the City of De Pere. Check out a few of the highlights from this event. Last October, the governor's office announced an intention to include $50 million in the state budget for funding Segment 3, the bridge over the Fox River. Assuming the project continues to receive bipartisan support from our state leaders, the project could be completed by 2029. Okay, you got to clap for that. I mean, it's a huge deal. I know. Yeah.
I am extremely proud to announce that De Pere was selected to be a host community of the largest competitive road cycling series in the U.S. Tour of America's Dairyland has become one of the most popular race series internationally, earning an outstanding reputation for participant, fan, and sponsor experiences. Definitely De Pere will partner with Midwest Cycling Series to provide the community of De Pere with a competitive Pro-Am cycling event involving the participation of racers, community volunteers, and local businesses on Monday, June 19th.
Thanks to all the sponsors and speakers that make the State of De Pere possible. To see the full program, head to the City of De Pere's YouTube channel. The spring primary is coming up April 4th. Alderpersons from each district will be on the ballot. Check with the city clerk's office with any election updates or head to dprwi.gov for more information. That's it for this episode of the Mayor's Corner. We'll see you again soon with another behind-the-scenes look at the City of De Pere and all it has to offer. I'm Mayor James Boyd.